I think it's time to class up my philodendrons, don't you think?
Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, August the 21st, 2023, vlog number 326. And I hope you had a really great weekend, and I hope wherever you were, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, it wasn't too dry, it wasn't too wet, because, yeah, everything's crazy this summer for weather, isn't it? So let's move right on to current projects very quickly. These are things that I will talk about in much more detail tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. This is Christmas in July or August, whatever you want to call it. It is the snowman table runner that I did in the hoop on my embroidery machine, and I think it turned out really nice, and it's quite cute, and I have someone in mind that I'm going to gift this to later this year. So we'll move on. And these are the bits and pieces of the next project I'm working on, which is a Christmas quilt. This is a Chelsea Stratton design from A Quilting Life, and I'm loving it so far. A lot more pieces to go yet before it's done, but it's coming along quite nicely. And I have been experimenting with blocks for another Quilt of Valor quilt. And so you can see these are two of the blocks that I'm dealing with. I like both of them, and they may all appear in the same quilt. I don't know yet. I'm still experimenting with all of these things. So that's what I've been working on this week. So let's move on then to YouTube video of the week. Now, of course, lately there's been a lot of hubbub about AI, artificial intelligence, basically taking over everything. AI exists that can write whole essays for you, or can write your emails for you, or can design a work of art for you, or do just about anything, even write a resume for a job. To the point where AI is so rapidly developing and improving, geometrically improving, it's kind of scary. I mean, visions of the Terminator kind of a thing. The robots are going to take over. But there's no avoiding it. It is there, and it's here to stay. And I just really don't know how we're going to handle this, the AI. However, AI has entered into the world of YouTube as well, and this is also very scary. I mean, we're all used to content creators like myself being human beings. I am not a robot, contrary to popular opinion. And now, well, who knows what AI can be used for? In fact, there are several videos, if not hundreds of videos on YouTube now talking about that. And in particular, I wanted to point your attention to this particular video that talks about using AI with YouTube. This week's YouTube video comes from a channel called Veed Creators, and I occasionally have watched this channel from time to time because there's some interesting tips about making videos for YouTube. But this one really caught my attention because lately I've been really interested in the whole AI movement, if we can call it a movement, where people are using AI to write memos, to write emails, to create scripts, to create artwork, all kinds of things. Well, this is part of that kind of thing where this particular YouTube channel is showing how he created a YouTube channel where all of his content was created pretty much with just AI tools. And it is scary. It is very scary because now it is very difficult for us to tell the difference between a real human being behind what we're seeing on the internet and something that has been artificially created by basically a computer program. There's wide sweeping implications for something like that, and this particular video shows you how it could affect the whole YouTube community. So And it probably is already happening out there as well. So if you're interested in AI and applications for AI and the scary implications of AI when it comes to something like YouTube, then you'll want to check out this particular video called I Tried YouTube Automation for 30 Days Using AI. Kind of scary. A whole lot scary, really, when you think about it. Yeah. The future is here. Okay, so if you want to check out that whole YouTube video, then it's linked in the show notes below for you. There's a link to Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, as there always is, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time until probably about 4 in the afternoon. That's what's been running these days. I know the link, I just noticed that the link in the show notes says until 4. I should change that. And maybe I will before this goes up. However, I'm on my lonesome this week because Stephanie will be on an airplane flying to Washington State because she is conducting one of her very famous, very fun in-person retreats. She said she might try to drop in at some point during the day, pending, how everything's going with her flight and her traveling and everything like that. So I'm sorry, you only have me on Wednesday. But I know you're all wishing Stephanie a safe trip. Okay, so there are links to all of my friends' YouTube channels. There's links to my past week's videos, and there is a link to something that I was invited to join in. Stephanie on her live on Saturday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. She had a panel discussion that included me, included Sean from The Guy Who Sews, Russ from Quilt Meets World, a friend of Stephanie's, Bev. I'm so sorry, don't remember Bev's last name, and Shannon from Slay Arts. And all of us, the 6 of us, we talked about what one should know about going to an in-person or a virtual retreat. And it was a lively discussion. And I think there's a lot of great information there that came from all of us on the panel. So if you haven't seen that yet, there is a link in the show notes below to Stephanie's video, to her live that night for you to check out. And please do. Yeah, so what's that taking me to next? Well, that's taking me to looking out my window this morning. So let's just see what things are doing. And here's what it's looking like outside my front door this morning. A little dull, as you can see, and I don't know if that means rain or not, according to the forecast. If I look it up here, it is supposed to be cloudy, but I don't think there's any rain forecast for today, and there is not. So hopefully, yeah, it looks like it's going to be cloudy all day. And we're not supposed to have rain now until about Wednesday, 30% chance, and Thursday as well, 30% chance. And then cloudy, and then sunny right up to next Wednesday. So that'll be nice because we are getting to the tail end of the summer, right? And we don't want to see it disappear. So I know we would like to see the heat disappear a little bit, but you want to know something? In a couple of months' time, we'll all be complaining about the cold, at least those of us here in the northern part of North America, for that matter. But anyways, yeah, doesn't look like it's going to be too bad a day, just a little bit cloudy. Okay, so that takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, lately I have had some issues, let's just say, where I had to take control of my own situation, I guess. And some people might think I'm a little bit of a control freak. And you're not wrong. I am a control freak. I don't like surprises. I like to know what's coming. I'm a scheduler. I'm an organizer, that kind of stuff. And if somebody else isn't going to, take the reins, I will step in and take the reins over. Now, having said that, I don't want to say that I force my way into all situations and just monopolize. I don't. But things that affect me directly and are things that I have planned and things that I have organized, and yes, they are my babies and I will take control. But lately, I have run into some individuals in various capacities who think it's their job to take control away from me. And I don't like that. Yes, I am a control freak. If you try to take from me the control of a situation, then I am going to become very aggressive and I'm going to take it back. And there are people who hate that about me, but so be it. It's part of my personality. However, let's think about this for a minute. Aren't we all control freaks in one way or another? We are masters of our own domain. If we plan something, if we put the work and the effort into something and all of that, then we don't want someone to swoop in and try to take over. We become very territorial. And I think all human beings are that way. We are all very territorial, are we not? Don't believe me? Look around your neighborhood. How many people have fences between their property and the property next door? Are fences there to be decorative? Oh, no, they're not. They're boundary markers. They're there to say to the other people closest to our property that do not step over this line. This is my domain. I am in control. Don't you dare. Yeah, you've heard the expression, fences make good neighbors. So think about that. Or even in landscaping. Look at the way landscaping is done. Landscaping, in most cases, yes, it's pretty, it looks nice, but it is a territorial kind of thing. It says, I control this property and I can design it in any way I see fit. I can put my flowers, my trees, my shrubs wherever I want. My property, my domain, I'm in control. Look at that color that we paint our houses. Again, that is a control issue. And what we're saying is, the hell with the neighbors. I don't care if they like that color or not. It's my decision. So yeah, we're all control freaks. Okay. So the next time someone says to you and calls you a control freak, accept it, because you are. The other thing I don't like, though, is the power struggles that come with being a control. And I'm not going to use the word freak anymore. You're not a freak if you're in control. You are in control. But those who like to come in and try to wrest control from us, no, that becomes conflict. And sometimes that's a major conflict. And if you look at the world, countries are doing the same kind of thing. That's why wars happen, right? One country wants to control another country. Is it right? Is it wrong? Well, it depends on what side of the political fence you may sit on. But the fact remains that we as human beings, at any level of our existence, whether it's a fence around our house or it's moving in our tanks into another country, all of those things say that human beings basically have a thing about being in control. So let's get back to what has inspired me to talk about this right now. As a YouTube creator, I am in control of my creation. But there have been times and individuals who try to wrest control from me. No, not going to happen. And I am not afraid to take the control back. I put a lot of hours into producing my YouTube channel. It's fun. I like doing it, but nevertheless, it is still my domain. And some of you are very well aware of my expression that I use very regularly, my sandbox, my rules. And this goes for any other creators as well. And we as creators of YouTube are in contact with each other. Not with everybody that creates a YouTube channel, obviously, but we have our little niche of people, and we all share the same experience. We always have individuals who try to take control away from us. we won't allow it. As I always tell my fellow YouTube creators, my friends, you always have the power of the delete key. Don't be afraid to use it. If someone comes on and makes a comment that's inappropriate, that does not contribute to the channel in some way, that is just mean and nasty, or is trying to tell you what you should do with your channel, delete them. Forget about them. Don't need those kind of people. I know some people out there might think, well, that's just being cruel and nasty. I think cruel and nasty are people who decide that they should be dictating to YouTube creators what they should be doing. Suggestions are always welcome. Constructive criticism is always welcome. But destructive or unrealistic or just mean kind of comments or suggestions that are meant to take away the control a YouTube creator has over their content, well, those deserve to be deleted. So I hope you get what I'm saying about this. And so if for some reason I make a comment, because you know me, I don't have a filter. If I make some kind of comment in a chat or on a Zoom or something like that, that basically tells somebody, you know, okay, my sandbox, my rules, that means that I feel threatened by somebody trying to take control away from me. And I will not be threatened, and you will not get control. Yeah, I guess I am a control freak. Okay, let's move on to new products. Now, these are products not for everyone. Let me just find what I want to talk to you about. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to get everything under control. Speaking of control, yeah. Here we go. Okay, so first thing that I've ordered, and I received it on Saturday, you'll probably laugh at this, is beard oil. Now, you may not be familiar with beard oil, but it's sort of like a conditioner, like conditioner you put in your hair, you know, to make it soft and supple. This is the same kind of thing, except it's meant for a man's beard. So yes, I could have said a woman's beard too, and there might be a few ladies out there that might want to use it, but no, I'm just joking. However, yeah, and this is great. It's L'Oreal. Well, it's because I'm worth just a little more. Not really. I have tried other brands, and actually, this is kind of pricey if you buy it at someplace like Shoppers Drug Mart. I think it's about 20 bucks a bottle. But you can see here on Amazon, it's $13.97. So I order it, and I do use it. Now, I didn't know there was such a thing as beard oil. Well, when I didn't have a beard, I didn't worry about it. But my hairdresser recommended it because she trims my beard every time I go in and does a great job. She's actually a qualified barber as well as hairdresser. So she really knows what she's doing. She recommended that I get something like this because she said it would make it softer and easier to trim up and that kind of thing. And I do believe her. It is working. I really like using it. And so, yeah, I got a cup stocked up on a couple of more bottles of this. Now, the other thing that I bought is from Temu. It has not arrived yet because I just ordered it a few days ago. I'm expecting delivery of this little device sometime around the end of this week. And if it does come by the end of the week or on the weekend, I will do a video about this and let you know how this works out. This is a little bit more expensive of an item on Temu than what I have ordered in the past. But I saw it being reviewed on another YouTube channel, and I really liked it. I thought it's a great idea. It's a charging station, as you can see, but it will charge your phone, it will charge your iWatch and your earbuds if you wish, all at the same time. But you'll notice it's showing the display on your on the iPhone, because when you turn your iPhone sideways, maybe, well, maybe mine doesn't, but that's okay. It will show the time. So you can set it on next to your nightstand, your bedside table kind of a thing. And whilst charging, you also have a clock as well. And I have a clock that has to be plugged in. I have a charging uh, port for my iPhone, which has to be plugged in. I have a charging port for my iWatch that has to be plugged in. Yeah, all of these things. Well, this is one plug. Now, the one thing I'm a little worried about is, will it really charge all those things at once? I guess time will tell. I've invested $31.35 in this, and as I said, when I get it and try it out, I will review it here on my channel and let you know how it works out. But we'll see. It was an impulse buy. But then what aren't most things are an impulse buy for me, really. Okay, so that's what's new this week. So what about, how are things going with the grow lights and the garden? I thought I'd do a little video of all of this right now, so you get a little better look at them than just looking at pictures of them. So I'm going to insert that video right here. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about our garden and about our plants. And when I say garden, I mean our grow light situation. So this is grow light number 1, and you can see that Walter has lettuce planted in this. And we have found that lettuce grows really well under lights. And so during the early spring, late winter, we had a lot of fresh lettuce throughout that part of the season. And with the price that lettuce was costing in the grocery store, this was really a godsend for that. And here you can see he's got a little bit more lettuce growing here, but we haven't planted anything in these other 4 pots. This is grow light number 2. Now, we also have another set of grow lights, as you know, which are adjustable. They're big panels of LED grow lights, and they hang from the ceiling in the workshop. And Walter has built this little corner in here with reflective what do you call it, foil or something in around the pots. And here he's got some green peppers coming on, and they seem to do pretty good underneath the grow lights as well, but they grow pretty tall. So these ones we might start under the grow lights in the other trays and then transplant them or move them to, when they get a little bigger, to this area, since they can grow a little bit taller here. So outside, you can see the lettuce that Walter has put in here. And we found that the lettuce really, when it's really, really hot, doesn't seem to do very well. It sort of goes dormant. But when it's a little bit cooler, it seems to come on better. And lately the heat has been a little bit less for us in our area. And so the lettuce is coming on very nicely here. And I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit bigger before I start harvesting some of it and we start eating it. You can see we have some onions as well that Walter started from bulbs, actually, that he bought, and they're doing very well. He did have some of them indoors under the grow lights, and they seem to survive under those okay too. So we may continue in the cooler months to grow onions indoors. This big plant that's right here is one that Walter transplanted from under the grow lights. It is a pepper plant. And it does have flowers on it, and there is a pepper way back here, as you can see. It may or may not produce some more before the season is out. We'll have to wait and see with that. Now here are all of our other plants, our tomato plants in along here. They're a bit on the wild side, but most of these tomato plants came from the plants that we had indoors under the grow lights. And you can see we're getting some little tomatoes on here. This bushy little thing down at the bottom, that is a chive, and basically they're a perennial. We don't do anything with that. They come up every year. They're self-seeding. And really, what do you do with that many chives? Not really sure, but they're good in salads. You can use the chives taste sort of like green onions. So, you know, in place of green onions and some things, you can use the chives as well. I don't know. I might cut a bunch of them off and freeze them, but I'm not sure if that would be really that good, because this is kind of something that you want, you know, once you freeze them, they go kind of mushy. So I don't think I might try. I'll see. I don't know. Always experimenting. Down here at the end, we have, let's see if I have another picture. Yeah. This particular tomato plant is, has bigger tomatoes on it. So we're waiting for those to come along and beat the squirrels out for them. And you'll notice that some of the leaves look a little ratty. Well, they're actually perking up a little bit because the leaves on a lot of the tomato plants were going a bit yellow, and Walter read that it was probably a deficiency in calcium, so he bought some powdered calcium and put it in the plants, and they seem to be doing better with that. And this is another pepper plant right here with some flowers and some buds on it, so we may get a few more peppers before the season is out. Peeking in behind, more onions. And here, this is basil, and we have a lot of basil. Need to make some pesto with all of this, and you could freeze the pesto as well. We just gotta get some pine nuts and give it try that. But they're looking right now, the basil's looking really good, and it is also a plant that we can possibly bring indoors in a pot and put it under the grow lights, or we'll just start some more under the grow lights from seeds, and they do very well indoors too. Well, we should have nipped that in the bud. You don't want them to flower because that'll start making them go a little bit bitter in taste and stunt their growth. Better get out there and pinch that off. So here's another angle shot from down. You can see, you know, I like it in this time of the year when we can sit out on the deck in lieu of flowers. It's just very nice to have all this greenery growing here along the edge. I really quite like that, and I'll miss that when the season is over. So anyways, I thought you'd be, oops, let's go back down here. I thought you'd be interested in seeing how things are going with our grow lights and our container garden. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of our greenery, I guess we'll call it. And we have more plans as the summer starts to wind down and fall comes for what we're going to grow indoors this winter. Okay, and I'll keep you posted on that. All right, the 3D corner. What have I been making? Well, everybody should have a little head in their life. There is a very dirty joke in there. Never mind. This is a flower pot. Yes, his head is hollow. And I saw this when I was looking for something new to print on my 3D printer. This took 4 days to print, but it came out great. And I did it in that 2-tone filament that I'm really loving. And later today, I'm going to plant some philodendrons that I've started upstairs in his little head. And I think it's going to look really kind of cute with philodendrons coming out of him. As time goes by, the philodendrons will probably cover his face. It'll look like he's got long green hair coming out of his head. But this was fun to make, and it turned out really well. And I worried about that. Well, I didn't really worry. I just slapped them on. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's just plastic. But it got me inspired to do something else. Let me just find the picture for you of that. And that's right here. And I'm doing the mermaid one. This is a fairly complex print because there's a lot of open spaces, so there has to be supports. This one's supposed to take about 4 or 5 days to print. It's on day 2 or so right now, and so far so good. It's a little rude, okay. She is wearing a little bikini top. It doesn't look that way though in the picture that I have here to show you. However, we don't have children, so it's okay if it's a little X-rated. Again, philodendrons are going in there. Why philodendrons? Because they're the only plant I can grow that I don't kill, basically. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. And I've got something else that's going to take 5.5 days to print, and I'll talk maybe about that next week, because by this time next week I should have it printed and hopefully it will work, but you'll have to stay tuned for that. Okay, so that takes me to Blast from the Past trips, and this is the second part of the Hunter Valley in Australia, December 28th, 2016. You saw part 1 last week. This is part 2.
The Brave Mountains are the rim or the edge of an extinct volcano. So this whole area was a volcano, and as the volcano eroded away, it created this rich red volcanic loam as the soil, and that is why this area is ideal, apart from the climate, but the soil is ideal for the growing of grape vines. Coming up on our left-hand side is the Cessnock Airport, and there is a commuter service operating from Sydney up to Cessnock. But a lot of people who own their own aircraft quite often fly up here, land at Cessnock, and then use the local shuttle buses to explore the vineyards, isn't that? And if you're really wealthy, you can have your own helicopter and you land at the vineyards. So you pick a winery, you land your helicopter at that winery, have a few drinks. Well, you can't as the pilot, but if you're really rich, you've got a pilot that works for you, so you can go drinking. Yeah, great with that. Here on the right-hand side, we have the Crown Plaza Resort and Golf Course. Golf is a popular sport in Australia, and per capita, per head of population, we have more golf courses than any other country in the world. If you happen to play a game of golf during your time here, I do recommend that you wear 2 pairs of socks, just in case you get a hole in one. See, they're better after alcohol, aren't they?
More alcohol.
Oh, what's sad. Now we're going to take the next road on our left-hand side, the Broke Road, heading towards the Broke Mountains and the town of Broke, and we're going to head up into the heart of the vineyard. So we're going to see lots of names around us that some you might recognise, some you might not. We've got De Bortoli Vineyard on our right-hand side. On the left-hand side, the start of the Hungerford Hill Vineyard. And you will see, especially on the ends of lots of the rows of vines, you'll see rose bushes today. And that's not just there for prettiness. Those rose bushes are really important because anything that's going to attack the vines, such as rust or aphids, will attack the roses first. You can see some roses over on the end here on the left-hand side. So the roses will be affected by whatever disease or pestilence first, and then they'll take steps to solve that before it damages the vines. So you will see lots of roses at the vineyards. On the right-hand side, Peterson's Sparkling Wine House. On the left-hand side, Hungerford Hill. Part of the Hungerford Hill Flying Saucer building here, on the furthest end, the right-hand end, is the Muse Restaurant. And on TripAdvisor, that is the #1 restaurant in Australia.
Wow.
Voted #1 on TripAdvisor, right there, in the whole of the country. Wow. Shame we don't go there for lunch for that. Thomas Allen Wine on the right-hand side. The next one coming up on the right will be Leo Gate Wine. Coming up on our left-hand side is the Hunter Valley Distillery, and you can try some of those spirits and vodkas at our last stop in the village today at the cellar door there. Sitting together as a group. The toilets are in the far back corner of the restaurant. There's also a delicatessen here, and gelato and ice cream and all that sort of thing. Now, for those of you with the gourmet lunch, you've got a 2-course lunch with wine. And for those of you with the cafe lunch, you've got a beautiful baguette or soup, and then you can take the little coloured card I'm about to give you when you're inside and present it at the gelato counter, and they'll give you a gelato as part of your lunch. And they also will give you a cup of tea or coffee or a cold soft drink with your lunch as well, as all part of your cafe lunch. So the restaurant's here on the left-hand side where those people are walking towards the entrance there. When you're inside, veer to the left, I'll be there guiding you through to our tables. Now.
Okay, so we're doing the second winery. Come back here, Walter. I'm not done with you. Yeah, this one I can't say the name, but there it is on the sign. And we bought a couple of wines here, and they're kind of interesting. But we were here, and this is Grey Line Tour again, and it included a gourmet lunch with a wine pairing. Not impressed by the wine pairing, really. Well, first of all, can you be impressed by a wine pairing at a restaurant that's called Two Fat Blokes? Sounds cute. The food was okay. We had a choice between soup as an appetizer or antipasto, so we got the antipasto, and it was okay, but no great thrill. The only reason we didn't get soups because we didn't know whether it would be like a seafood chowder, and we hate that kind of stuff. And we didn't see any wine at that point. Then they bring us out this stuff. Okay, pork pate, and then there was some duck. And then there were some pickled vegetables and a slice of cheese with some crackers, which presented nicely, but then they threw down 3 little tastings of wine. Didn't tell us what the wine was, didn't tell us what it went with. I mean, I thought with the pairing you were supposed to get a bit of an education to that, telling you what foods it would go with, and that was it. Quite frankly, the lesser costing meal is what we should have probably got, because they got some kind of a fancy looking sandwich and they got gelato, and it looked a lot better than what we had in a way. So, you know, right now that's 2 strikes against Grey Lines as far as I'm concerned, and we're sitting here staring into the camera for all the world to see. So what did you think of lunch?
That's very good.
Okay, so there you've got the definitive statement on that. So here's our 3rd winery stop. We're inside, and this is called, what's it called?
McGuigan.
McGuigan's? McGuigan's?
McGuigan.
Do I believe you from Canada? Or do I
Turn
believe
around,
the person
turn
who lives in
around.
Perth? Is it McGuigan?
McQuinnan's, I believe.
McQuinnan?
Yeah.
Quinn? Okay, so this is their wine tasting area, and it's quite extensive, as you can see. Very big.
So you're all wine drinkers?
Yes.
No, hate the stuff. Yeah.
What's the most consumed drink in the world? William. Had a bit before, and then we can some water. This is the first one up the top, guys. This is a sparkling Sauvignon Blanc. So this is made in a Sauvignon Blanc style. So Sauvignon are normally a little bit dry like this. So that's got a little bit more citrus. Very zesty. Actually good zest to it. Nice and cool outside. Where are you guys from? Ireland. Of all the places to be tin mine in the world, let's see where the biggest export customer is. Oh. Ireland, the UK, closely followed by China. So China's next one. What do you got? All the sweets in Chicago. Alright. Where you got from? Where are you folks from? China. Norway. You can buy our wine in Norway. We send it to Norway. All these countries you can buy our wines. There we go, guys. Sparkling. So this one's made not like the traditional champagne. They just up CO2 gas in the bubbles. Quicker. What's the same job? Can't call it champagne anymore, so it's called sparkling now. Very light and refreshing.
Okay, so we are now in, what's this village?
Not sure.
Okay, we're in a village, which is where we were at the last wine tasting. Possibly why we don't remember what it's called, but now we're in a place where it's got a tunnel of beer. Let's see what a tunnel of beer is, shall we?
That's one of the ones I have here.
Well, that's a bit of a letdown.
was working on my like.
Chatty, we
tour
can
Australia.
talk
I
already.
haven't seen anybody from.
I got a few other
I was expecting a tunnel.
Really?
Yeah.
You're on the wrong tour. I'm just kidding. That's cool.
So really, this isn't a tunnel, it's just a lot of shelves of beer. But whatever, how to get you in. So, would you like one of each? There's 800. Okay, so out here you can see all the different beers they have, and here you go. How'd you like a beer for $55 a bottle? Yeah, I don't spend that much on a bottle of wine, so not happening.
I did the same thing. I'm from San Diego.
Oh yeah.
I found Ballast Point, the shirt that I'm wearing,
Yeah.
right over there, and I'm like $15 a bottle. You got
They have any Canadian beers? That's where we're from. I'd like to see what they're charging for that.
exactly. It's gotta be amazing. Tell me you got Ballast Point already.
Are there any Canadian beers?
I don't see any.
They have 800 types of beer, but they don't have a Canadian beer? What's that? Are they trying to say that we do not have good beers in Canada, but they have American beer? American beer? Really? That's just a misnomer right there. Beastie Boys. Old Mate.
You wouldn't smash into a Friday night at 14 bucks a bottle.
Old Mate. Like really, they have American beers but not a Canadian beer. Like really, American beers are water. With a little brown paint put in. Okay, so now I remember the name of this. This is called Hunter Valley Village. Like that was hard to remember since we're in the Hunter Valley, but this is it. It's all little shops and things. A lot of them have beer, wine, cheese. It sort of reminds me of a way sort of Niagara-on-the-Lake-ish kind of a deal. Little cafes, coffee shops, all that kind of stuff around here. Or the other name for it is Tourist Trap. So now we're sitting in Hunter Village and I'm having a lime milkshake that kind of tastes like milk with green stuff in it. Oh well. And Walter's eating a hokey pokey, but they call it something different here.
I don't think it's okay, but it has really hard chunks of that.
Oh, okay, it's a hard hokey pokey. I don't know. It's got chunks of what in it? Chunks of caramel?
No, it's like chunks of hard.
It's honey.
Yeah.
Oh, chunks of honey. Well, whatever. I think I should have had what he had.
It tastes like butterscotch.
Because mine doesn't taste like anything. Oh well. This is what you call going overland in Australia. We're on the bus. No road.
Oh, that's a big male right in the middle there.
Kangaroos. Whoa.
For the boy here.
There's kangaroos in the wild.
Look how muscly he is. You would have seen that thing on in the internet of the guy slapping the kangaroo in the face. I wouldn't recommend doing that. We're just going to make this a photo stop. You won't be able to get.
There they are. As wild as can be. There's a couple more right there. Big one, a little one.
Yeah, sure.
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, we had a pop-up sew day on Saturday. It truly was a pop-up sew day because I gave you about 12 hours notice because I didn't realize I was going to have a pop-up sew day on Saturday either. So why did I have one? And why didn't I know about it? Well, we were out and about on Saturday, and then Walter informed me that he had just found out that his sewing class was having a sew day at the club, and he thought he would go. So I said, great, that means I can have a pop-up sew day, because I don't go to those sew days of his anymore, because quite frankly, I find them boring. They're not my people. They're nice people, but they're not my people, okay? I'd rather be here doing a pop-up sew day. So I sent out at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, message on my mailing list to everybody that I was having this. And then I announced it on So Chatty as well with a link for it. And I had more people at it than I really expected, given the fact that it's summer and the weather was half decent on the weekend. And I just figured people would probably be more interested in, doing barbecues, family things, outings maybe that day. But we had about 30 at the height of it. So that was pretty good, and I got a lot done. I was working on that decide those blocks for my Christmas quilt, and I think other people got a lot done too. So it was lots of fun, always is. When will there be the next pop-up sew day? It might be Saturday, September the 9th, maybe, because Walter thinks there might be another sew day for him on that day. But there will be an announcement about that, hopefully not 12 hours before, more like a couple of days before. But then again, if it's called a pop-up sew day, it's supposed to be something that's quick, but we'll see. If you want to be on that mailing list, though, please just email me your first and last name, your real first name, your real last name, and your email address. Your email address will be actually in the header if you send me an email, but if you have an email address you would rather I use in the mailing list, then you can put that in the body of your message as well. Okay, I've already mentioned that I was on Stephanie Stitches Live on this past Saturday night, and we talked about retreats. That was a lot of fun. And of course, I've already mentioned as well that Walter had his own sew day, and apparently there was one lady showed up that was not part of their group, but came to sew, who was wearing a witch's outfit, including the pointy hat. Walter said she was very nice, but a little bit different. And I think the fabric she was sewing with had bats on it, so don't know what that's all about. But, you know, too bad Walter didn't take a picture of her. I would have. I would have asked her. I would have said, I'm loving your outfit. Do you mind if I take a picture of it and share it with my friends on YouTube? I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, you know. But anyways, he did not do that. So we'll never know exactly what she looked like. And good news on two fronts. One, car insurance. They paid out finally. And they paid out more than we were really expecting, which is weird, but wonderful. So Walter is not going to argue with them. He's going to get the money in his hot little paw, and end of that story. So the check is in the mail. So hopefully this week it will arrive. And that is a load off of Walter's mind. Another thing that's a load off of Walter's mind and my mind is right on the tail of finding out that they were going car insurance pickups were going to pay out. We got a notification that the people that are replacing our window that we've been fighting with for the last since January are coming on Thursday to install the new window. So fingers crossed they actually show up. I won't believe it until I see it. And I mean, maybe I'm being very pessimistic, but you know, I'm still not holding out that this is going to be the end of this for a couple of reasons. One, they're installing it as opposed to the people that we originally went through who did an excellent job of the installation. Hopefully these people will be just as good and don't leave a whole mess here, and they seal the window properly in the frame and everything is fine there. And then as time goes by, hopefully the window will not fog up inside, or we're back to square one again. And this time it's going to be different if that happens, but I'm hoping it won't. Remember what I said about control? Yeah, I'll be using all of my tactics if we have this problem again. But anyways, let's hope, plan for the worst, hope for the best. So that's Thursday this week, so I'll be able to report to you later in the week on So Chatty or on live or on this vlog. Okay, so we were feeling like we should really get out for part of the day on Sunday because the weather was quite nice on Sunday. So we looked online to see what was going on in our area, and lo and behold, in a little town just north of us by 30 minutes or something, they were having an event called Art in the Park, and it was free. So we thought we'd trundle up to this town called Uxbridge and check it out, and we did, and I took a video. Now, if you want to buy pottery or jewelry, all kinds of jewelry, yeah, that's what they had. As far as art went, if you were expecting, you know, oil painting, acrylics, watercolor, there was some. but there was a whole lot of jewelry. Now, mind you, the jewelry in itself is art, because these are, you know, one-of-a-kind pieces designed by the creator. So they were interesting, and there were other things there that were very interesting as well. So I put together all the little clips that I took and put them together into this little video for you.
Yeah.
This is quite extensive. There's an awful lot here. Cozy mitts. You want some cozy mitts? Tie-dyed shirts. Pottery, jewelry. I haven't seen any quilts. Don't imagine there will be any either. Toys, pottery. Lots of jewelry. There always seems to be lots of jewelry at these things. Oh look, art. Quilter taking some shots. These items are all up for auction. It's a silent auction, and I guess the money goes towards the support of guide dogs. And they've got some of the guide dogs over there. So lots of interesting pieces that you can bid on. You can't bid on Walter. He's not for sale.
Not a Sega sale, and I bought a few pieces, and so I'm kind of like over it. But I did see a couple that I
All silver?
It's all silver, so it's 145. So this particular pot is made out of lines. Then a lot of these will be a little bit more than that. I tend to go with the more boho button. Different techniques of business and whereas the women I like are real.
Those red buttons.
These are all done on wheel.
No, some of them are. So
Oh,
this,
really?
yeah. So this.
He wanted to come. So what were you saying about adding around and have a
I was thinking it was you, but I'm looking at it by the store.
or no.
I'm gonna go get my hat.
Oh, all right, good. See these pumpkins? So here you have the barn quilt-like things. Some very elaborate designs, but you know, there's a couple here that would make a good quilt. Like I'm looking at this one. That would be a little different as a quilt. And that bluey color one that looks more indigenous in design.
Oh, okay. So when you realize that. Oh, okay.
But that's, you know.
When does she?
be down this way. Down in the middle down here.
They're onesies. What's that? Aprons. Maybe we should start making aprons. I don't know why. What, stained glass?
No,
No.
make a stand here.
Oh, make a stand.
It's hard to get the glass.
Yeah. Candles.
Can you imagine? No, I can't. You have to buy it. That's a bowl. That's nice.
Pens.
Like those ones Frank used to do.
Yeah. Wood turned pens. Yeah. Do they have
So the pepper goes on the top.
But it's not.
It's a new listing.
where?
Down in the corner.
Oh.
No, it's the weekend after.
Beveled?
That's good. Bevels are expensive for
Yeah, I know.
They're hard to find. I have a bunch of bevels at home.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That's kind of pretty.
Yeah.
You see, if you're still doing stained glass, you have a little booth.
Yeah. I've got some stuff I can do. We should maybe do a piece again.
We didn't go up that other side.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Hi there. Hi. Nice to meet you. You having a good day? Yeah.
I got a bunch of canvas at home.
Yeah, so do I,
Just
somewhere.
canvas like that.
Oh, you mean fabric?
Oh, it is. What do you get now?
Are you gonna feel that way about your mama?
And it doesn't soften up when you wash it.
See, another booth idea.
Yeah.
Bags by Wally. Wally Bags.
Mine's also July 23rd.
Yeah, and she's just like, I'm like, yeah, yeah. Like, I'm like, yeah.
Hi folks, how we doing? Beautiful day.
Okay, so that brings me to the end of this week's vlog. Just a couple of things. Idiot Quilter will go up tomorrow, so Chatty on Friday, and of course our live on Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I've already mentioned sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, but this week's just sewing with Stephen, Wednesday morning. Zoom links in the show notes. And please subscribe if you haven't. If you come here many, many times but never got around to hitting the subscribe button, please do. You know I do not like asking for it, but I have been asking for that lately because I've just gone over 9,000 subscribers. I'm only about 994 subscribers away from hitting my goal of 10,000 by the end of this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. So if you come here regularly and you like it, if you love me to pieces, please subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it makes me feel good. Yeah. Okay, that's it for me today. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.